Hi, I'm BryCox with BryCoxWORKSHOPS.com, and for this video, I want to talk a little bit about finances, business and personal finances, and this comes from some consultations that I've had with clients, photographers. And in talking to them, I'm realizing they're not keeping their money separate, and it's actually creating a problem. One, they don't know how much money they're really making in that sense, and it makes their accounting difficult, and I feel like they're asking for big problems, especially if they get audited. So particularly these photographers that I've been talking to are like part-time photographers. They have other jobs. They have other forms of income. Like one's a woman whose husband works. She doesn't work. Her job is photography. But some of these people, they have separate forms of income coming in. So over here they have a personal account, and maybe they got this other job, and money's coming in from that job. Then over here they got their photography business, and they're putting money in that, and they're taking money out. They really don't know how much they're making because that account is funding all sorts of things. Not to mention it's also a personal account. So one, we got to keep personal and business separate. Have a business account, have a personal account. If you want to put all the money in that personal account, totally fine. But business account is separate. It could be the same bank, same credit union, different credit unions, whatever. 2 accounts, 2 debit cards, right? 2 different checks. So if I want to buy groceries, which one do I buy them at? I'm simple, right? Business or a personal account. I pay for my groceries out of my personal account. Over here, my business, if I want to pay myself, if I want to make myself, $500, I write a check, $500 to myself for wages, and I deposit it in this account, and then I go buy groceries. Now, that's really important, especially when it comes to accounting, and your accountant's going to need to keep these things separate. You need to keep them separate, especially if you get audited. But also know, you can see, hey, is this account growing or is this account shrinking? Am I having to borrow money from my personal account to keep this afloat? That's kind of the problem I'm assuming is happening with some of these photographers that I've been doing consultations with, is they think they're making money, but I don't really think they are. I think they're, because it's all in one pile and they don't really know how that money is flowing. So one, you got to keep this separate. And what you want is it to grow, and then you take some money and put it in your own account. And then it grows, and you take some money and put it in your own account. The other thing I like to have is separate savings accounts within my business account. So I have some of those. I have another video on that. We talked about that before, but I like to have accounts for things like taxes, things that are irregular, right? Maybe like a lab bill, things that maybe you get paid at this point, but you got to wait a few weeks before you actually, your client pays you, but then you actually owe money for that project, but down the road. Maybe it's like a wedding, right? You get paid for a wedding. A certain amount of that's going to go towards products, but those products aren't paid for on the day they bought the wedding. It's paid for sometimes quite a ways down that timeline. Once the wedding's been shot and you design things, you're going to, in my case, produce a book. So what I do is in that account, when they pay me for the wedding, is I take a certain amount of it that I know covers their album, and I put it in another savings account called albums, and I literally name them. Your bank can change the names. They used to call them savings 1, savings 2. I call it albums, taxes, right? Things like that. So then what happens, months later, whatever it is, it's time to pay for that album. I transfer that to my checking, write a check, or use my credit card, whatever it is, or debit card to pay for that. All right, keep those numbers separate. Personal, business. I can't understand why people are getting those so mixed up. That's so important to keep those things separate. All right, I have a lot of other full programs, hours long, on things like lighting, posing, Photoshop, Lightroom, Adobe Premiere, video production, and also sales. On my website, BryCoxWORKSHOPS, BryCox Workshops.com. All right, until next time, America.